Hey everybody, welcome back to Soul Talk. I'm Agnes Diffuse Rajesh, your host. Today, we are marking a special yet bittersweet occasion. First anniversary of Mrs. Enid De Silva's passing. She was an amazing woman, and her loss has been deeply felt by those close to her, especially Elvis De Silva, her son, who is now a well known corporate trainer. Elvis has had been incredibly brave and resilient in the face of this huge loss. We're going to talk about his journey of grief, how he's been coping, and what he's learned along the way. We'll be discussing a journey that touches every one of us at some point, navigating the grief of losing a loved one. Elvis, thank you for being here. It means a lot to us for your sharing of how you have coped with grief of losing your mom. We're very sorry for your loss, Elvis.
Mhm.
So welcome to
Yes,
the
sir.
show, Elvis.
Thank you, Agnes. Thanks a lot.
So let me begin by asking you, Elvis. I know it's a difficult moment, but yet we must ask this question. Elvis, how did your mother's loss impact your life and career? Were there some changes or challenges that you faced?
Yes, since I always say I'm still very close to my mom. Just that she's not physically present, but she's still present in my heart. So yes, it was a big loss and a tragic loss. All of a sudden, we did not expect. It was a sudden shock. The fall that led to this. That came along with a lot of many months, almost 10 months of hospitalization. So, yes, it definitely affected me as soon as I lost my mom on the 4th of September, 2023. The very first reaction was of denial. Like while being in the hospital, when I saw that the ECG is showing a straight line, and the nurse standing there said that, now your mom is no more. So, uh, I confess this that I immediately uttered that God does not exist, and I too don't want to live. This is the statement that I made on a very reactive mode. My wife being present there, my wife's mom being present there. So almost 3 months I was not able to uh, you know do any kind of trainings, or I actually did training just immediately 10 days, or I think so, just up 1 week after this date, on the 11th of September. But I was like somehow pushing myself. So there was a lot of sense of vacuum, because for me, my mom was the whole world. We were like more not like a mother and son, but more like a friend, going to church together, going for outings together, going on a long drive together, on a long ride together. So yes, that vacuum will always be there. That vacuum cannot be filled. Uh, but I say that many people come and tell you that, move on, move on. I would say we cannot move on, but we can move with, because your loved one will always be present for you in your heart, in your mind. May not be physically, but spiritually, in spirit.
Absolutely. So, how did you navigate each of these stages? So, you moved on, you
Hmm.
continued to train, and you probably felt her presence around you. Was that how you coped with this losing your mom suddenly?
For me, coping is more from the spiritual perspective, because spirituality teaches us that we are not just human beings. We are not just a physical body. We are first a soul. So in death, what happens? It's just that you lose you your your soul is still there, just that the body is not active more. There's a what do you say, segregation between the body and the soul. The body is something very temporary, and that is what we call as death. But a person is still there, the soul is still there, the spirit is still there. It is like air. we cannot see, but it is still there. So I still feel the presence of my mom. I still feel that, she is still there in my heart. So I say that, my mom carried me for 9 months in her womb, but I carry my mom in my heart.
Right. So actually, the our loved ones don't really go away. A piece of them stays with us as long as we live, and I think they kind of direct us in many ways too, isn't it?
Right. And I think it's more powerfully. It's more
Yes.
powerfully. Now I feel that, I feel my mom more powerfully, even more than that, when she was physically there.
Mhm. Right, right. So Elvis, did you apply any strategies to yourself? Because I know I have known you for a while and I know it was difficult to
Mm-hmm.
cope with this loss. See,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly when someone just goes off,
Mm-hmm.
we are totally lost like a fish out of water.
Right.
So get any help? Like what were the strategies you applied to yourself to gain some balance back to real life?
For me, see, there can be different thing that works for different people. Some may just go for an outing, or some may just, spend time with their friends. For me, what worked was spending more time in prayer.
Okay.
Like being a Catholic, I go for daily mass.
Mm.
I spend time in personal prayer. So that is what helps me.
Okay.
That helped me. But I think for many people, uh, I would not suggest to force yourself to come out of it, because everything takes time. We are not, we are not machines where we operate on button on and off. So give yourself time. I would say get busy with your work again. One of the good ways, get busy with your work. Also, the second thing that worked for me was talking to people, talking with friends. And I am blessed to have some good friends with whom I used to just call, and they used to bear with me, hearing me for half an hour, 20 minutes, some even for an hour. So that serves as, a shock absorber, where you give yourself that room to vent out your sadness, your emotions, which is very important. If a person does not vent out his, does not give a venting out for this, it can harm a person's mental health, physical health, spiritual health.
Right. So I hear you mention that for a moment you stopped believing in God when you saw the flat line. Yes. So there was a
It was
question in
not
your
that
mind.
of believing in God, but it was out of anger,
Hmm.
because I was, for the 10 months of hospitalization, it was like a fight that I had with God. In the church, I used to go kneel down, and I used to fight with Jesus. I used to
Hmm.
say, why this has happened to me? Why this to my mom?
Hmm.
I come to you daily. I don't do any bad things. Why this has to happen to me? And I
Right.
literally have a fight. Like, literally, I used to argue.
Hmm.
And like on the 4th of September, it was a fight that was going on for 10 months. It was a battle that was going on for 10 months.
Right.
And on the 4th of September at 12:45 p.m., I thought, like, I've lost the battle. The battle is lost. So yeah, so it was a reaction which I immediately came out with, that, God does not exist. I too don't want to live. But then later I confessed for this reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure this happens with everybody, but eventually one has to. So you were saying that your strategies of coming out of it was by talking to people, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when you're speaking to friends and when your friends are listening to you and consoling you, that
Mm-hmm.
is a moment where you feel a little support. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually, when you come back to your own self, again you're all alone, isn't it?
Right. Right.
Has that empty space been challenging for you? Like when
Yes.
you have
Yes.
only you to yourself, that
I
must have been
recommend,
a
after any such loss, it is okay to be by yourself for some time, but one needs to come out of it. Yeah, or else it could lead to, depression. It could lead to a lot of negativity, no enthusiasm to work, no, not being ambitious, you know. So it's very important to come out. Go out, meet people, get busy with your work again. As I said, get busy with your work, set targets for yourself. And the main thing, what I would like to say is that turn this, what do you say, turn this emotion. Uh, so when you mix reaction with emotion, it leads to misery. But when you mix response with emotion, it it is power. So use the same emotion, channelize it towards your goals. So if I always say, if I remain into that no distress mode of and in despair, in melancholy, that I have lost my mom and now what should I do, and now there is no life, now everything is gone. But if I say yes, if I change my approach to this, if I change my approach of a response, that I say, okay, what would my mom want of me? What would she like me to be doing right now? What if I do can will make her happy? Because as we discussed earlier, we are saying that the loved ones are still present
Mm.
spiritually. They're just physically gone. Thus the matter is gone. The soul is still there. Just that it is not seen like the air, but it is there. So what is that thing I will do today to make my loved one happy? What would my
Right.
loved one want of me? I need
Mm.
to ask that question to myself and channelize that emotions constructively.
Right. So it's a lot of brain work and thinking that goes along with this, right?
Mm, yeah, I would say brain work along with also soul seeking,
Mhm.
also coming to the right awareness,
So does
coming to the
this,
right awareness.
yeah, so does this change one's perspective on life itself? Will one start looking at life differently after experiencing such a profound loss in one's life?
So death is a kind of a spiritual experience, I would say. That in the rush of life, in the run of life, we are working, we are setting targets, we have so many commitments. But that tells you that everything is temporary. It also teaches you a lesson. It's a teacher that tells you, why are you taking life so seriously? Why are you fighting for petty things like property, money, some career objectives? Having said that, that does not mean one stops being ambitious, one stops, you know, trying to improvise himself. But it shows you the other side of the coin, that do not take life even so seriously, because this is the ultimate fact. This is the ultimate station where everyone has to go to,
Mm.
where your name, your fame, all becomes flat. You are just now a body.
Right,
You're
right.
only a body. Even your children, your spouse call you a body.
Right, absolutely right. I mean, that reminds me of something I heard which affected me and stayed with me was there are just two truths in this
Mhm.
life. The day that you're born and the day that you die. This is a fact. It happens with everyone. That means each and every person has to go through this. What
Mhm.
happens in between is not that significant. You have to enter and you have to exit,
Right.
isn't it? So
And
what
you
I'm
know
saying
your
is
birth date. You know your manufacturing date. On any product you see, there's a manufacturing date and an expiry date.
expiry
But
date.
you only know your manufacturing date. You don't know your expiry date. It can be even the next moment. It can be maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. You never know.
Yeah.
So it's a experience that teaches that life is transitory. Do not fight with people. Do not hurt people for some gains. Do not spoil your relationships.
True, true.
It's a great, wonderful teacher. Death is a wonderful teacher. I invite everyone to go and attend, funerals. Go and attend when a person dies. It will bring in a lot of self-realization. It is a kind of a meditation.
Absolutely, absolutely. It teaches you to value what you have and to do the best in that little time that you have been
It brings
granted in
more
this time.
appreciation for life as a
Absolutely.
gift. Today, if we both are talking, it's such a great blessing that we both are fit, we both are so healthy, and we are discussing something, right? We are in the best state of health, mind, body, spirit. There are
right.
many who are not. So it brings in, death brings in a lot of self-realization, to be
Mhm.
grateful, to be appreciative of life itself, and not to
Yes,
complain that I don't have, I'm using a Dell laptop, I don't have an Apple, I'm having a OnePlus. Why don't I have iPhone? Yeah. Oh, I am having a normal car. Why don't I have a SUV? Appreciate what you have. Be grateful. Be
yes,
thankful for life itself. Because
right.
one day this will not be what it is.
So you mean to say that uh, grief can also be a catalyst towards personal growth, isn't
Yes.
it?
Grief, anything for that matter. It is, life is all about our response to situations. Our response to situations. The same situation when when the father was, for example, Hitler had a very what do you say, a very strict father, and he became Hitler. He thought I should also, harm people. He had a bitter experience from his father. Mother Teresa also had a bitter experience where her father was killed by some political parties. She could also have reacted, but she responds to it, that this has happened to me, it should not happen to others. I need to do good to the society. So life is all about our response.
Right. Absolutely. It's our response. And I also think that life should be celebrated instead of
Right.
being sad and, depressed about losing someone. We should, in fact, celebrate their life by
Celebrate
doing
their life.
better. Yes.
Right.
And inspire not only ourselves, but even everyone else. Right.
Right.
So, with all these learnings, so ultimately I believe what happens is you start getting new learnings from this whole experience, right?
Right.
So from this thing, that this event of passing of your mom that happened, what are the new learnings that you received in your life? What are the changes you made after that?
So like whenever I set some goals, some ambition, something is not happening, something is going, I planned something, but it is not happening, I'm not achieving something. So that realization always comes back. That Elvis, why are you, getting so tensed? Why, if someone has done something to me, Elvis, why do you want to react? Why do you want to fight? Even after getting that, is it going to be for ever? Yeah, so that realization, it helps you become more stoic, non-reactive to situation, non-reactive to people. And instead, it has, helped me to, what do you say, have a balanced temperament.
So that's very nice to know that you, it has made you a stronger and better person, I believe, right?
Right.
So has there ever been a time when you felt that you probably lost hope, or you're losing hope? I'm losing my strength. I'm not able to focus. See, I'm saying this out of my own personal experience because
Hmm?
I've also lost my very young brother, my father, some people close to me. There have been times when you feel that it's not worth living anymore. Such
Hmm.
a young boy can die at 32. You feel life is over, get
Hmm.
angry, lose a sense of hope. And when someone very close, like your mom, goes away, hope also kind of quenches out.
Right.
There's no hope left anymore. Then what would you do? How would you maintain it? How would you bring it back?
See, in that particular situation, you lose the objectivity.
Mm.
You become very subjective. And in that particular situation, we need someone who can, play that supporting role. That someone can be your relatives, your family, your friend. Uh, if you are very spiritually inclined, for you, it can be God. You just go at the feet of God and you pray and you come out of it. So, yes, it is very natural, very, very normal to lose hope at that particular time because, like, this person has been your backbone. You are always relying. It was she or he was your world, and it's a very normal thing that you immediately lose hope.
Yes.
You And it is fine. It is fine to lose hope. It is fine to get discouraged, depressed. negative for some time, it's fine. Yeah, it is completely normal. But you need to take support of someone. You
Mm.
need support of
Right.
someone.
So I think you should take your time, go through the process, come out of it. And now is the time when I'm asking you that, okay, you went through the grief, you have come out of it, and then you take up challenges.
Hmm.
You want to make a meaning, you want to give the world something meaningful. So, was
Right.
there any decision that you took that you want to show the world something, you want to give something back to the world? So, did you do anything like that for yourself?
So see, the firm even that I run, the IAM training services, it's all about me training services. Our vision is to make this earth a heaven.
Hmm.
Our vision is to make this earth a heaven.
Yeah.
So to go into corporates where there is so much of politics, there is so much of blaming, not taking accountability, not taking ownership, to make this corporate jungle into a garden where people collaborate, where people help each other. So that is our vision. That is what we are working towards.
So, I hear that you have been motivated to write a book,
Hmm.
and I had it. It was I saw you read your posts on LinkedIn and other social media saying that you were going to release the book was going to be launched on 4th. I think it's coming out on the 8th of September now,
Yes, yes.
and it's a tribute to your mother, right?
Yeah, it's the one which you can see here
Ah,
in my backdrop.
okay.
The name of the book is Vitamin L. It's all about leadership, leadership in the corporate circles, how the leadership needs to be. So it is going to change the perspective of those in the leadership roles. Not just so, for example, in the corporate leadership roles would be managers, plant heads, HODs, directors. These are all leaders who have people reporting to them, who have teams. So how do they need to take leadership? What is the true understanding of the word leadership? So I do not spell the word leadership as SHIP. I spell it as SHEEP. So sheep
She.
is a team, a group of people who do not have direction,
Mm,
not have motivation, who do not have drive. And leader is like the shepherd who shows the direction to the sheep. So
mm,
this book is, going to bring that spirit of servant leadership, parent leadership, not only leadership in the corporates. Now, when you talk about leadership, people understand, oh, leadership means 10,000 followers, 5,000 followers, 100 followers. Leadership is not about followers. Leadership is a mindset.
mm,
I, as an individual, also can be a leader.
mm.
So it is not just about institutional leadership, it is also about individual leadership.
Right,
Leadership in schools, leadership in family, leadership as a citizen of the country, leadership as a member of some community.
right. Very nice. I mean, I'm really intrigued by the way you said that it is leader SHEEP.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful analogy that you have created of
So sheep basically do not have direction. If you even
right,
drive somewhere, a herd of sheep, they will come in front of your vehicle. They do not even know that they will meet an accident. Even if
right.
you take them to the water, they do not know that it is water. The shepherd has to tell them, drink, this is water.
Yes, yes. Beautiful. Very nicely said. So it is a way that you're saying to be mindful and go ahead. No,
Mhm.
beautiful. Very nicely said. So tell us where is it being launched and where can it be available in case the viewers want to purchase and get a copy
So,
of this book?
yes, this book is going to be available on Amazon, and even the hard copies will be available on order from Amazon. They can
Okay.
either download an ebook or they can either order for a hard copy.
Okay.
I will be very soon sharing the link from where it can be downloaded, where it can be ordered. And this book is just the first book, and every 4th of September, I am committed to write books that will add value to people, value of different categories of people, every 4th of September as a tribute and honor to my mom's life. As you said, we need to celebrate a life.
Right.
So this is one step towards it.
Okay, wonderful. So we're really looking forward to this book, and I'm definitely going to get a copy of that to my hands very soon. So Elvis,
Mhm.
all the very best, and I hope
Thank
this
you.
will be a roaring success too. So, is there anything else other than
Mhm.
anything else about your path and resilience and your experience? That anything more that you would have missed out that you would like to share with us now?
Only a message to see, this is a situation which every person faces, loss of a
Mhm.
loved one. There is no person on the earth who has not experienced this, except for maybe kids, small kids, who will later experience it. So
Right.
my message for them is take time, yeah, and do not react to your emotions. It is difficult. You will react, which is again normal,
Mhm.
but take your time, process it, process your emotions, take support. Yes, and your
Right.
loved ones are only physically not there. Yeah, only
True.
they're physically absent. They're still spiritually, their soul, their spirit is still with you, and more powerfully than ever before.
Right. Absolutely well said, Elvis. So, thank you so much, Elvis, for sharing your story with us. Your insights and your journey has undoubtedly been valuable to many of us, and your openness and vulnerability will no doubt touch many of our listeners. Okay, and your journey is indeed a testament to human spirits, resilience, and also the power of love.
Thank
And
you,
to our
Agnes.
listeners, yes, thank you for joining us, and we hope that today's conversation has provided you with valuable insights and support. Remember, you're not alone in your grief. There are resources available to help you through this difficult time.
My
I
only
wish you
request
well.
before we end the podcast is any viewer who is listening to this, uh, I would request you to share it with any person whom you know who has very recently lost their loved one. And at such situation, it becomes very difficult to find that support. At times, you don't get that support. Yes.
Right.
So such video, if you share with them, maybe some words that have been spoken and discussed here can give them consolation, can give them that support.
Right. And I also would urge the listeners, if you have your own story to tell us, you can even write it in our comments
Right.
and we will reply to you, because there
Yeah.
might be something insightful that you have experienced in your life. So do write it in the comments and do
Yes.
share it.
As
And
Agnes has mentioned, if we have anyone, so the name of this podcast is Soul Talk. So we are having very soft topics, topics that will help people to become better humans, to manage their emotions, uh, you know, to improvise themselves. So any one of you have any such stories, you can come in my place. Either I could interview you or Agnes can interview you. Yes, the basic idea is to help people, to help, because today people need help. People are broken. The world is broken. People may look smiling, they may be seen best of their clothes, but you do not know what is below the iceberg. People are going through a lot of emotions, a lot of processing, and chatter is happening deep within, below the surface. So, such podcasts, when spread and shared with people, can help them.
absolutely. So thanks again for listening in. And thank you so much, Elvis, for
Thank you.
all the
Thank you, Agnes.
sharing that you've done. And until we meet again, have a wonderful time. And with that, I sign off for today's podcast.
Thanks. Thanks, Agnes. Good night, everyone.